Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So this is part 4, session 4 of the pre-turn setup. So yeah, things have been progressing. We have finished off the convoy system, which is superb. So the convoy system, we have much yet to organise, but things will flow and they will be far more intriguing in certain ways now, as we have to dictate the tempo on the land, in the air, and at sea. So much to do, much to consider. But the amount of things to do is narrowing down, which is fantastic. So, with that said, I think what we need to do there is, take a hold of our situation in Japan next. What I need to do is take a look at all these cargo ships that we are not planning on using, and have them sent to Tokyo, ideally, but I think I might take them to Osaka first of all. And hello there, Emil, how you doing, my friend? And yes, I believe have them sent to Osaka, and then from Osaka/Kyoto, we can have them sent to Tokyo, depending if they can have conversions done here or conversions done here. I think upgrades have to be done at Tokyo, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to do a quick check on that at some point in the future. But yes, everything will be sent to Osaka. That is not in use right now, in terms of convoys. Well, cargo ships, that sort of thing. The reason for this is really just to get everything out of the way. Okay, so everything that's not in the task force, and yeah, send it all to Osaka. Now we do have some interesting ships, like the Hishimi is rather intriguing. She does have a decent endurance, her speed is pretty decent. Cargo capacity isn't bad at all, actually. So we might be able to make use of ships like this in the future. Possibly for more... Yeah, possibly along the lines of going to the Marshall Islands and the like. I mean, let's see. Is the music a little bit loud? I feel like the music's a little loud. Just turn that down to about 1. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. My new stuff came. I ordered like £200 worth of Flectarn stuff. So yeah, I am definitely looking off Flectarny. I'll probably post a picture on the Discord at some point later on. At which point I actually could do with posting a link to my own Discord. I don't even advertise it, do I? But again, I don't do very little with it, so yeah. Okay. Let's post a quick link to the Discord. Evidently, so people can join if they'd like. As I need to advertise this stuff. There we go. Paste that. Awesome. Okay. Post on the chat. And then for those of you who will be watching this on YouTube at a later date, at least you might be able to join the Discord if you would like to do so. Okay, so yeah, let's take a look at that troop capacity. So notice that we only have 350. Now, you can see why I was getting quite happy about the Minakaze APDs, considering that these destroyer transports can actually hold 250. So this cargo ship here at 350 doesn't look that impressive. And you've got to bear in mind, obviously, this is unarmoured and slower. So yeah, APDs are fantastic. Okay, so this will simply not take too long at all. Be easy enough to do. Okay, so I'm going to name this Osaka... Let's call it Osaka Task Force 1, and then at least it'll be out of the way. So we'll send to Osaka. But you take a look, I mean, that's 20 ships. I mean, there's plenty that can be done with these ships. What we need to do as well is we need to take a look through and decide what ships to convert in the future and when to convert them. We'll also take a look at the ASW missions that we do have ready to set up, as well as the mining missions. Yes, the Discord, basically a bunch of bickering advisors. It's a really good description. I like that description, in fairness. Okay. So we will be taking a look at the industry, of course, more so in this session. Okay, now it's interesting to see that we have tankers. I think I might have the tankers sent elsewhere, so that we can actually have them on standby we should make use of them. Okay, we have a USN over here, that's rather intriguing. USN and some lemurs, by the looks. Yeah, we have a couple lemurs. Now, these are actually rather intriguing ships. I could actually make use of these guys, to be fair. So I think I'll leave them in port there. I may have them sent to... Shanghai, perhaps. Yes, I think these might be sent to Shanghai. We don't have that many ships for a second follow-up convoy, so they could actually do quite well. Okay, Osaka Task Force 2. I mean, this part doesn't take us very long at all. at the end of the day, I'm just going to go for all the ports in Japan, send all the excess cargo ships, and we'll make the best use of them. We have much to consider, though. And I was actually doing some reading on the forums, and I did find something that was rather intriguing. So if we go to ship production, now what I want to do is take a look at naval, of course. Can I turn... Right, not blueprint. Okay. So what I want to take a look then is, let's see, date of arrival. So you can see here, obviously we'll have quite a few ships arriving. Many subchasers, the Shoho, will arrive in a couple days, so 26th of January 1942, not long at all. Some nice new submarines, of course, and the Yagumo class of destroyer here. But what I want to do here is, if I take a look here, so the Yamato is due to arrive on the 20th of May 1942. But what I'm considering here is, if we take a look, so we have the Yunyo class. I don't know how you pronounce that. Let's see, will that show me the new date? Accelerated. It doesn't give me the new date as such, but it does speed that up. Actually, does that give me the new date? No, it doesn't. But basically how it works is in regards to acceleration. I believe you build it up. I have the manual in front of me right now, actually. I'm going to take a quick flick through. But what I'm thinking here is, let's see. So we have the Yamato of 20th of May, 1942. I'm looking for the Musashi. Right, so the Musashi arrives the 1st of December, 1942. So what I'm considering here is if I was to actually halt the construction of the Yamato. Now that would save us over 200 heavy industrial points. And you can imagine, that is actually a significant amount. So what I'm thinking here is, perhaps halt it for a while. What I need to do is try and have it arrive around the same time as the Musashi. So I think what we could do is, turn to, we halt the construction of the Yamato. That would actually save us around 200 plus heavy industrial points. Let's see, so normal, yes, 233 there, that's quite considerable. This game always interested me, but I can't find anything similar to compare it to in order to decide. Well, there really isn't anything like this, really isn't. Well, not at least this modern, I suppose. I mean, there's Warplan Orange, which I'd love to play more of, but unfortunately is a little bit dated, but I will try to do my best with it. But yeah, let's see here. So we have the Junyo class of carriers. Now, if I take a look, does this actually update? I'd love it to update. That'd be beautiful. So 1,384 points needed. 2,379. Big difference here. Available points 1,384. Okay, so if I was to accelerate this, it doesn't actually up that. But yeah, what I'm thinking is we accelerate the Yunyo class of carriers, and we halt the Yamato, just for the time being. Just give me the actual... I wish I could actually see these figures update over here, that'd be very nice. I'm sure we can do this actually, so let's turn them back to normal. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back... Well, I'm going to actually grab my calculator. There we go. So, let's grab the calculator. I've just got that up on the other side, so let's move this just over here. If I can. There we go, play ball. So, if we take a look here then at industry. So, if I take a look at the actual World and Pacific industrial chart. So, you can see here the Naval Yard has 1,384 points. It technically needs 2,379, which is rather interesting. Okay, let's take a quick look. I need to just take a quick look through the manual just to make sure I'm doing the right thing here. What I'm thinking is do I actually accelerate the Junyo? It would obviously be a very good idea to have more carriers out in the field. What I'm thinking is we could actually use this heavy industry, at least in the short term. Perhaps for the first... Well, then again, for the first week I'm not going to be able to do that much expansion. There's not much expansion that can be done within 1 week. It would very much depend on how long it takes us to actually produce more industry. What I'm thinking here is we actually hold the Yamato. Perhaps use... Well, if we hold the Yamato and the Shinano, which we would do. Okay, let's go here then. So ship production. Right. So Shinano. Halt. Well, what I need to do then is actually... Right, normal. Normal. Okay. Let's see here. So with the Yamato Musashi, that leaves us with 1,384. So the Shinano is 157 points, I believe. Well, let's see. At least that's what I believe. Our build points, here we go. So it's used 157 build points. Okay, that's the same as over here, actually. That's good to know. So 157 build points. So what we'll do then is, if we minus the Shinano, so 157... So that takes us down to 1,227. So we'll hold the Shinano. Now, Yamato is 233. So what I'll do then is minus 233 from here. So 233. That takes us down to 994 points required. So what I'll do is I'll hold that along with Shinano. So that leaves us theoretically at 994. So what I'll do here, we're not onto the R&D as of yet. We are getting closer and closer to that, but it's not there quite yet. So what I'll do then is, if we go to these ships over here, so you can see at the moment they only cost us 84. If I go to accelerated, you can see that... where are you? There you go. Accelerated, 252. Okay. So remember 994. Because I'm rather lazy, I'm just going to have this do the maths for me. Whoops. Okay, so that's an increase of 168. So 168 times 2 equals 336, plus that to be 994. So that takes us to 1,330. So if I actually halt the construction of the Yamato, it does allow me to continue the pace as it is right now. But what I could do is, rather than actually accelerating these guys, which I'm not even... I don't know. It would of course be a good idea, I suppose, to accelerate them, but I'm not... I don't think I will, you know. I don't think I actually will. At least not yet. Not for a little while, I don't think. So at the end of the day, let's see. So with the Shinano and Yamato halted, that would obviously allow us a few more, well, quite a bit more heavy industry. So let's see, 1,384 minus 994. That leaves us 390 heavy industrial points extra. You can use numlock instead of using your mouse. Yeah, that's very true, but I'm just very lazy like that. I don't know, man. I'm just used to doing it, to be fair, that way. So yes, that would leave us about 390 heavy industrial points. And that could add up, you know. Halt to the amount. What kind of heathen talk is this? We'll alternate at least until we can actually get the main... well, let's think about it. So, 390. To expand industry costs us about... Let's see. Well, what I want to do then is we'll go over here to the engines. So let's see. HA30... Right, okay. I wish I could turn off ones that we're actually producing. Well, we'll go by producing, as obviously the HA35 will probably be at the top. Yeah, so if I was to expand this, you can see here that to expand it by 1 costs us 10 heavy industry. So you can imagine we could actually expand the industry by 39 points by using those points. Well, by using the points saved from the Shinano and the Yamato, which is actually quite considerable if you think about it. So that is what I'm kind of thinking. If we halt the Yamato's construction for some while, at the end of the day, that's going to keep THG guessing as to when the Yamato will arrive. He's going to think, right, May, she's there. When in reality, she's not actually there until December. But that's fine. But yeah, you can imagine an extra 39 points of industry without really damaging the economy any more than what it already is at now, I think could actually be worthwhile. I do feel that could be worth it. As to expanding the industry on turn 1, I don't think it's worth it quite yet. Mostly, I think I'll expand the industry in turn 2, perhaps. The reason being, I want to actually see my true numbers. I want to actually halt the construction of the ships first. So if we take a look at this economic guide. Right, okay. Now I'm just going to take a look, see if it actually advises the expansion of the heavy industry. Well, at least of the industry to begin with. It might be worthwhile as actually building up some. Why don't you split heavy industry into production and R&D? That's very true. Well, yeah, that's true. That's very true. I also recommend possibly expanding the port in Tsingtao. Potentially. Hello there, Duga. You should be going surplus and heavy industry per turns anyway. Well, that's very true. That's very true. If we take a look at the actual... Yeah. So you can see here, 2,614. Okay, so obviously then in the second turn when we hold the construction of the Yamato and the Shinano, that would give us another 300 points back over here ideally. Well, possibly another 300 points. As to whether that actually works out that way is another question. But we'll obviously have the ships to play with in the second turn. At least that's something for me to consider. But what we need to do now then is, as we work on, well, keep on sending our ships back to Osaka. I don't know, what do you guys reckon? Should we start engine expansion in the first turn, or should I leave that until the second turn? I'm a little bit undecided. But we do have over 2,000... There we go, another use then. We do have over 2,000 units of heavy industry to play with, so probably better off just actually expanding key industries. I mean, expanding the engine production would probably be a very good idea. Something to consider as well would be to expand light industry in certain key locations in the far future. Namely as light industry is the only one that continues production with only resources, whilst heavy industry needs resources and fuel. So this would be super late game, but it could be quite handy for certain locations out in China, perhaps. Expand now, 1 turn will cost you. Okay, we'll go ahead with the expansion then, that's fine. Yeah, it is America. Aye, indeed, my friend. What do we have here? A Shibi. Yeah, it will not take us long to actually have all these ships sent to Osaka. Doesn't really matter about the names. As long as I name them Osaka, then we know exactly what the purpose of that task force is. We're not going to be ending up confused. Plus, I can always go through each of the ports and see if there's a ship that is not in a task force. Make it quite easy then to figure out where we are. Okay. There's not that many ports anyway, so not take as long. Yeah, I suppose we'll have to choose the key industries to expand in the first turn then. Namely, what I'm looking at doing then is really... Well, what we can do as well is we can hold the armament. So if we take a look over here then, actually, armament. Right. Manpower, heavy industry, armament. So we do have 2,000 points of armament production already in the pool. So that's fantastic. I mean, that's fine. I can just use the armament for that. We do have 1,000 points of vehicles. I may consider expanding vehicle production. I probably will. We'll take a look at how many vehicles we actually produce. So max production is 72. I suppose it actually seems to be what we actually require. So, okay, 432 heavy industry required. You can see here, engines and air is very large. But armament is 3,720. If I turn off the armament production, at least until we get to a point where we are starting to run low on the armament pool points, well, we do have, what, 20,000 there. That's not too bad. It should last us a little while. But yeah, I could actually gain quite a bit of heavy industry back, which would be very nice. Indeed. Okay, so we'll turn armament off in the future. I do have enough guns at the moment, I suppose. And if we actually go over here to our intelligence, and if I go to industry troop over here, What I want to see then is with pools. Right. Turn all that off. Army weapon. That's not many. Naval gun? Vehicles. Engineers. Aircraft engine. Okay. Well, that's fine. Right, all device types. Mines. Good amount of mines there. No AFAs in the pool. But that's fine. What would happen anyway is the production would continue. I'd just turn off production but keep obviously the factories. So we'll turn off that, which should be good for us. Okay. Now, as I were. It's good to see that we do have some use and ends still within Japan, so I can obviously send them over to Shanghai. We'll take a look at what we can convert some of these ships into as well, which would be a good thing to do. There we go, Task Force 6. There will be another wave of cargo ships heading to Osaka in the future. Namely, as we send, well, all the ones in these ports that aren't of use. What I'll do is I'll have them grouped into a task force and have them load up resources, and then once they leave China and Korea, etc., and return to Osaka, at least they'll be bringing resources. So make something of a use of them. Okay, so these are all the ones in the port. What are these? Daigons. These Daigons could be potentially handy. They are very, very slow, so we'll have to see what we could potentially do with them. It could be that we use them as minesweepers. Well, not even minesweepers, mine layers potentially, like coastal mine layers. We'll have to take a look at what conversions they actually do have, and if indeed any of them are really of any use. As it's not guaranteed that any of them, or indeed all of them, are really useful. Okay. We've almost finished one half of Japan. Right, turn off that. Just that. Okay. Now what do we have over here? The Hishimi. I keep looking at the Hishimi. They might be potentially useful. They do have an okay speed. It's not very, very fast, but it's faster than most of the cargo ships that we do have. Right. There we go, Task Force 7. Will be an insane amount of movement in the first turn. Something I'll have to do as well is sort out from all these cargo ships any that are really worth their weight as troop transports. I mean, some of them have okay capacity, like 370 is not too bad. It's not great, don't get me wrong, but it's not terrible. I could make use of it. Okay. Check ASW on the patrol boats and destroys too when you're done with R&D. While you remember set up your groups to catch the subs. Air and ASW. Yeah, we'll be coming up to that. I think we'll be able to get that done in this session. R&D is going to be rather an intriguing one. Some decisions I may have to double check before I make them really, as I can only make the decision once. Osaka's going to be one hell of a crowded port. Yeah, definitely. And a lot of these ships aren't that large anyway. But it means that we have easier knowledge of what we actually have available to us in our other ports. I'm not going to have to faff around looking through ports, looking through loads of useless cargo ships. I mean, they all have use, don't get me wrong. Okay, so we've done all of this. How about Kobe? Done. Yeah, you're done too. Yeah, there you go. Anything here? No ships. No ships. Yes, we do have a few ships here. Another USNN, very handy. I'll leave that separate as I... Well, then again, do we actually use the USNNs for cargo? Yeah, we'll use them for the convoy, sorry. I was just thinking, should we have a couple of them sent to the Marshall Islands to take resources that way? Well, supply that way. But I do have other ships that can fulfill that task. The USNNs really do fulfill their use in the best way by actually going back and forth between China and just Japan in general. I mean, would I actually have them sent to Port Arthur instead? It is a possibility, but I think it would be nice... Well, then again, do I send them to Port Arthur? Actually, it probably would be the smartest idea to send a second convoy to Port Arthur, considering that is the port that is by far the furthest away and by far produces the most resources, give or take. So that's probably a good idea to do. Okay, so we'll take all these spare USNNs and we'll actually have them sent over to Port Arthur then, I think. Okay, 2 ships here. None of them are cargo, so that doesn't matter. No ships here. Niigata. What do you guys reckon? And yeah, what do we have here? Aidans. Plenty of those bad boys. I mean, they could fulfill the Marshall Island transportation route. They are fairly efficient. I mean, what I'll do is I'll work out in the future the actual fuel consumption of a task force if it was sent that way, which we are going to have to set up sooner or later. All your cargo's done, even the ones to Hokkaido. Yeah, Kijo's done, Fusan's done, Port Arthur's done, Sapparo's done, Toyohara's done, Kushiro's done, Shanghai's done, Pescadores, well, has potentially a route set up, so these are all done. What we'll do now is really getting all the cargo ships in and around Japan, having them sent to Osaka if they're of no use yet. And yeah, we are moving on pretty quickly. Finally, I suppose some of you will be saying. Another place you could focus to prevent access to Japan are spaces between the Kuril Islands and mine those hexes heavily. It appears to be shallow water. Yeah, that's true, like potentially up over here. It seems like heavy coastal waters here, shallow waters at least. I mean, it's not a bad idea to actually have, obviously, the mining done up over that way. Would I be worried to... And again... Yeah, that's actually a really solid point, isn't it? I suppose, at the end of the day, I could actually prevent a lot of the risk and dangers by having possibly just some seaplanes put out over here. At least if we have forewarning of something coming, I could prepare for it. As for mining, possibly. Maybe here would be a very good idea. That's probably the only hex where it'd work effectively, as it's between the islands, which is where they would pass, even here, but then again that is out at sea, so it wouldn't be as easy to maintain. But it's a consideration nonetheless. Okay, Ominato. I mean, we are moving so many ships here. So many. Hakadati. The tankers are going to be rather intriguing too. I would like to use them. It might be worth sending potentially tankers up this way to collect oil, though it does really depend. I could have oil flow to Toyohara instead, as at least we'd actually move oil out of there faster, potentially. Test Force 13. Can't see they'll be sunk. You can't be hit by your own mines, so if... well, there is a potential to be hit by your own mines. It's very low, but it can happen. At least as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong. At least then, the only convoys running, only cargo ships running around in these areas are the ones that we set up ourselves. So that'll make it quite easy in the future then for us to work out what has been destroyed and what needs replacing, really. And what I'll have to do is obviously take a note of the convoys, their size and their makeup to figure out what has been destroyed. Though we'll be able to keep a track of that quite easily, I'd imagine. Okay. Not many ports left now. Just the rest of Hokkaido. And we'll be good. And we've seen some actually useful ships as well, so that's always a good thing to find. Task Force 16. Shows you how many ships are heading to Osaka now. It's indeed going to be a rather crowded port. Okay, no ships here. Ships here. Oiler as well here, which is rather valuable. Could do with actually having that loaded up with fuel and made ready. Okay, what do we have here? Another Lima. Leave you separate as we can make use of you. Task Force 17. Okay, then we just have Tokyo. Tokyo, Yokohama, Nagoya. Not many now. Use and ends. Beautiful. Good couple of them, actually. We did have a few of them spare. That's good to see. You can see the use and ends are pretty decent for cargo. Well, cargo and troop. There we go, Task Force 18. Yes, we will be designated our escort shortly. I think probably to begin with, it would be wiser for us just to have the escorts that destroys out their patrol boats just out in force while we have a mass movement of ships. But I do have some intriguing plans. Was I up to 19 or 20? I think it was up to 20. I do have an intriguing plan. Really, we're going to make the most use of our air power. As we do have turn 1 surprise, well, December 7th surprise, I think it is. So I'm just going to find the 23, let's see. Just got the manual here. Okay. December 7th surprise. If the player selects a scenario that begins on December 7th, 1941, the option may be selected when chosen during the morning phase. Only on December 7th, 1941, the following occurs to represent Allied surprise. Allied air units flying close air patrol, search, etc. have a 50% chance of not flying any aircraft. If an air group passes this test and elects to fly, the number of aircraft that will fly is reduced by 75%. So basically, there's a 50-50 percentage chance that a squadron will actually be able to even take off. And then it's like, if they do actually take off, there's a 75% reduction in numbers. So imagine 20 planes, so 20 planes, and then you have 15 not taken off. So you're down from 20 to 5, if you can even take off to begin with. The Allies will launch no airstrikes. Japanese naval task forces may have enhanced first turn movement, depending on task force setting in the scenario. So I think Kiributai will definitely have that. Aircraft making a port attack during any December 7th phase will attack ships 100% of the time if there are at least 10 ships in the port. Aircraft hit on any Allied airfields suffer increased damage. Aircraft hit on Allied ships suffer increased damage due to lack of damage control. There we go. So basically what we have to see here is Well, this is the most intriguing one as well. Aircraft making a port attack during the end of December 7th phase will attack ships 100% of the time if there are at least 10 ships in port. Have a guess where the vast majority of American submarines are? Yeah, they're in Manila. So we will launch a absolutely colossal strike at Manila, at least at the port of Manila. The idea will be to absolutely devastate the American submarine capabilities in East Asia. That is going to buy me so much bloody time. Every submarine hit is going to be worth its weight in gold, as that will slow down the attacks on the economy greatly. It will also give us a hell of a lot more time. It will allow us to act almost without impunity in some ways. But that is going to be a major air raid to set up, the strike at Manila. We will also hit Clark's airfield as hard as we possibly can with the remaining forces. I'm planning on using my Nels, my G3M2 Nels, the naval aircraft anyway, to basically hit the airfield at Clark. Okay, Lima there too. Nice. But again, am I using the Limas? I'll keep the Lima there. Okay, so Task Force 21. I suppose it depends on the speed of the Lima. Am I going to imagine placing mine in Osaka? Plenty of ships here. Look at all those bad boys. Osaka Task Force 22. Right, seems like we have one more port and that would be about it for Japan. I do have some islands nearby with ships as well, but I could do with actually sorting out two, but not many. Okay, Denbanov, that too. These are Limas, okay. If I remember, weren't there only like 4 sugar boats in Manila? Sugar boats. I'm not entirely sure. I think we should find a decent amount of, ships anyway. I think that's where the vast majority of the submarines are in Wall Pacific to begin with. Okay. Plenty over here as well to send back to Osaka. There we go. I think from Fusan as well. I mean, in fairness, I could do all the ports, and that would make things significantly easier in the future. Actually, then again, these guys coming from these areas will be carrying, well, will be told to carry resources to Japan instead. Don't forget the Prince of Wales and the other one. Yeah, Battle Cruiser Repulse indeed. Kijo to Osaka. Resources. So load up. Once you're loaded up, you'll head to Osaka, and there you can unload your resources at least. I mean, at the end of the day, it's only 6,085 tons of resources, but that's still 6,000 plus, which would be quite nice. Yeah, so we'll have the Prince of Wales, the King George V class of battleship, and the Battle Cruiser Repulse, I do believe. To deal with. Ah, Fusan to the south, sorry, not Kijo. I was just thinking that that's rather strange. Okay. Let's go back and rename that one quickly. Yeah, Repulse. Really quite formidable ships. They have the potential to be very, very damaging to me if used correctly. So I need to make sure that they aren't used correctly, and that they don't survive. Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, convoys like this will be able to carry at least a couple thousand, at least a couple tens of thousands of resources. So that'll be worthwhile, not take them too long to load up. Even if it does, they're going to be heading back to Osaka anyway, so it's not a bad thing. So Tsingtao to Osaka resources. Oops, seems I was a S away from finishing that sentence. Okay, from Shanghai be important. Need to clear out a lot of these ships that are out of use. Of course, leave any there that are. But that'll be most likely the mine layers and etc. Okay, I mean, that's 55,000 tons of resources. That's actually a decent amount. Shanghai. Osaka. Resource. Yeah, resource. Would hitting Singapore be worth it on the first turn? At least the airfield. Yeah, I would believe so, to be honest. I do have a few options now in that area. What we need to do is we need to see the amount of actual aircraft... Sorry, the amount of aircraft that we have available to us, really. And then make our decision that way. Right, that's actually really quite a valuable ship there. That seems as though it's been converted to carry troops. That's actually a huge amount of troop capacity. Then a Lima there too. These other ones can be moved out, but that's actually really formidable. The Lima can be sent to Port Arthur. Is there no? There's no resources here. Okay. Well, I think I was up to 26 or something. I don't know. Yeah, just have them sent to Osaka. Well, we do have that opportunity, but we will have the troop transports sorted out. Don't worry about that one. We aren't going to be moving, as per agreement, much out of China anyway. I've basically said basically it's just with the Historical Gamer. What I'll do is I'll bring up the rules that we sort of agreed upon. Okay. Right. So this is like a rough set of rules. Right, turn 1, no allied CV hunted on turn 1. Japanese player knows where they are. I mean, I don't, because I've not actually checked. But I know roughly where they are. But that basically is in regards to, I suppose, like Kiributai going out and hunting them rather than striking other places. Rule 2, 4-engine bombers. No 4-engine naval bombing below 10,000 feet. Number 3, political points. Permanently restricted units must not cross national borders. Full PP for transfer of units from restricted headquarters. So... yeah, okay. No switching land units to air HQs to do this cheaply. Okay, TIE forces cannot move out or out of 3 hexes of their national frontier. AVG must remain in Burma or China. Various fixes, blah blah blah. Night attacks. Restricts continuous night attacks or any night attack until attack early in the war until 1944. Invasions / land combat. No sub-invasions, no airdropping once squad via airdrop. Only allow landers invasions at dock, hexes or bases. No use of portions of parachutists to seize hexes. No unit fragment to cut off retreat. Unit blocking retreats must be of realistic size, brigade or above. Only airdrop a unit on target if there's at least 40 prep points on the target it's dropped on. Strategic bombing. No strategic bombing in or out of China until the 443. No Chinese city bombing until 1944. No bombing of Chinese industry. Naval movement. Malacca Strait must not be crossed by IGN surface ships until Singapore is in IGA hands. Okay. PT boats, all PTs in the same hex must be in 1 task force. Artillery, only 2 independent artillery units may bombard for each division of the hex. Stops Japanese Death Star artillery / evacuation of all artillery from Manchuria. Air combat, maximum mission altitude for fighters restricted to band with maximum maneuverability. Okay. Yeah, right. So I mean, those are some rough and ready rules that we kind of have set out for the time being. I mean, we do still have troop transports. I mean, I've left the the Usen N class that's actually fitted to carry troops here, so I could have that sent all the way up to the coast of Shanghai, which is probably where I should send it now anyway, along with the Lima. Might be a decent idea. But then again, What's it Lima capacity? What's its speed? 14. 14. Yeah, we'll send that up. Actually, I'll put that on troop transport. Okay. Troop transport at Shanghai. That should be worth quite a bit to meet that ship. The Lima can make its way to Port Arthur. I think that's probably the best thing to do, rather than sending them to to Shanghai. Namely, I think moving these resources will be more cost effective, at least in the fact that I'll actually gain more. Okay. Well, that's fine. What do I have available to me here? Nothing really stands out. Okay. So what I might do then is, let's see, 45,000 tons of resources here. How much could this carry? 93,000. I mean, that's a lot of resources to be missing out on. So what we'll do then is... I'll head over here to Taihoku, then they can load up resources, and then they'll go back to Japan. Okay, so that's about it. I think I'll leave ships further beyond the Empire's borders for basically use of... well, it gives us some flexibility is what I'm trying to think of here, really. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so... Ooh, I almost forgot about you. There's no transports here anyway, so that's fine. Right, so that is cargo sorted out. So if we take a look at the task forces here. So if I go here to transport, location... Yeah, just take a look at all those numbers heading to Osaka and Kyoto. There's a hell of a lot. I still have a few ships around here that I need to organise. I need to remember where they are. Should have sent them when I had the chance, actually. There's one of them here, so that's fine. Have reserve bombers and fighters attack any forces that would try and hit your cargo. I would, if I was him, use my carriers as a small destroyer force and attempt to hit them even if they die. I mean, trying to actually use his carriers like that would be rather fun for me. I'd like that. Okay. Have I sent to Port Arthur? Let's see. At least this is a quicker way. I mean, you can see really how many ships we are actually moving at this point. That AMC would be very useful. Not long now until the convoys is completely sorted out, so that'd be fantastic. Some of Tokyo. There we go. And that's a good few ships anyway, that will come in handy. Yeah, I thought I had 2 more. Superb. Hello there, Cassie. How are you doing, my friend? Right, I think that's all of them in Japan here. While you're here, check your conversions. Yeah, that might be a good idea. I think if I go to Osaka, I might still be able to see some. Let's make sure I've not missed anything here. Daichu. I mean, that is a USNN, so that's pretty handy. Surprising what you find. That's a Lima too. Send that as well. And that actually should make up enough numbers for a second convoy. Not the most efficient, but it's not bad actually. Okay, second convoy. No good, Port Arthur. Right, superb. Ah, Kobe. Amazing what you can find in the woodwork. Plenty here, actually. Indeed, actually might be able to have a second full convoy, rather than just partial. There we go, terrific. I think it's worth it to send them to Port Arthur, because at the end of the day, that is the longest trip, and if we have these resources flowing in somewhat semi-constant, that'd be great. Actually, did I forget this one? Ooh, I did indeed. Okay. So this is another Osaka Task Force. There we go. Perfect. Well, perfectamundo. Perfectamundo. Okay, let's take a look at what we actually have here then. Bloody hell. I have plenty of ships here already, don't I? Hello there, Lorenzo. How you doing, my friend? Okay, so that's already 48 ships here. There's going to be a huge amount when the rest arrive. There we go. Okay, so we'll sort by endurance. Actually, if we sort by speed, that's probably a good way to check. Right, you can only convert to a cargo ammunition carrier. You do have a patrol boat conversion. Anti-submarine of 2. Your speed is still 14, which is pretty good. Cruise speed's 12. That's probably not a bad idea. How much does it actually cost us to convert? These are things I should be looking at. So let's do a quick look through the manual. I just want to figure out really how much I'm going to be using. I really want to have a complete grasp on the heavy industry use. Supply use, really, of course. Hope you guys don't mind me looking these things up. So at the end of the day, it will help us. Ride conversions 238. It's a big manual, you know. Okay. Right. See, I don't actually get anything like it uses X amount of resources. I'm going to go with the assumption it probably does use resources. So, yeah. Okay, I mean, this is looking pretty decent enough. Then again, we'll see what else we have. Conversion delay would... So about 21 days to convert this over. Right, so... ASW2. You can't convert. You could convert into a aircraft auxiliary, which is actually something to take into consideration. Okay. Auxiliary destroyer tender. Auxiliary miscellaneous. Auxiliary miscellaneous. Two different types, that's rather intriguing. Actually, you know what? I think that's the... There's one ship where there's only one type, well, only one of it. Only well, one class was only one of it. So if I go to my industry and go to cargo planning. Kashino. Actually, you're fairly common. But yeah, there's only one Kashino. Okay, you're useless to me anyway. Yep, you can't convert. To a PB anyway. You could convert to a tanker, that's rather intriguing. That's not too bad. That might be worthwhile, actually, in the future. That is intriguing. Okay, Kisos. Actually, Kisos might be worth converting when they gain the free anti-submarine value. What is their speed? That's not too bad. I mean, they're fairly slow, but having that wouldn't be a bad idea. Okay, so at least we have a use sorter for the Kisos. Okay, for this, Tosu? Only 3. Okay. Write it down. Don't worry, I mean, I can see all this by looking through the tracker anyway. I mean, I'll be able to see what I want to actually convert over now, and if I do see something worth converting, I will do it. So far, it's the Kisos. Okay, yeah, it looks like the Kisos. Right, we'll convert these Kisos. Conversion to Kiso not available at sea. Okay. I suppose they need to dock. Oh, that's a lot of tonnage. Okay. I suppose they'll be docked next turn then. Or possibly considered docked. Or is it because we don't have a repair shipyard here? Oh no, we do, so that's fine. They should be fine. Okay, so I think we'll probably consider converting the Kisos in the future. Free ASW rate is not too bad. Okay, right now, what we need to do then is go throughout the entirety of Japan. And every area that needs industry will have to have supply. Well, every area that has industry will have to have supply. I think what we'll do then is we'll turn off production of armaments. So, turn off production. There we go. So we will not be producing armaments, at least for this time being. We'll see what our consumption's like in terms of armaments, and then we'll switch it back on to really meet that demand. Okay, so that's armored sorted. Heavy industry, light industry, refinery, oil. Okay. Right. I think we might sort it by heavy industry. And in fairness, I could go... I think what I'll probably do then is go through every city in Japan and just put up the supply required. Not that much, though. About 5k will do it. We'll do it like that, and at least I'm not going to miss anything by accident. And the areas not requiring supply, we'll obviously have that turned off in the future. But it's not a bad idea. I mean, obviously, if we have a supply requirement of about 5,000, that's fine. If they're not set to stockpile it, they won't do. Now, supply production should be pretty good anyway. If we take a quick look at the planner here, so industry, supplies, yeah, we are producing quite a few supplies here. What is an AU? Where's the AU? Is it over here? Hmm. Ah, AU. I think AUs are like auxiliaries. Yeah, that'd be an auxiliary ship. Yeah, I'd imagine that'd be auxiliary. I mean, is there actually any industry here? If there's no industry, then they don't need resources. But we do have oil and light industry. Light industry. Yeah, they need it. Actually, you don't need those supplies. Light industry. Okay, that's set over here as well, so we have that all set up. What we'll do is, obviously, in the following turns, we'll see how the industry performs and where we actually need to send these supplies. But if each of these bases does have some supply available, at least they won't be complaining. But if I see a base where it has actually nothing, then I won't feel bad about turning off supply. I'd rather be safe and sorry in the early phase. At the end of the day, there's plenty of supplies in Japan, at least now. Yeah, I mean, like, in Japan itself, there's 2.9 million tons. So that's a fair amount there. Supply production, 24,275 tons per turn, though we do require 167,349 tons per turn. So we will eventually run out. That's a surety. So we will have to take a look at actually producing more in the future. And shipping supplies from elsewhere, or ship supplies out. Depends, really. And this is why we have to consider expanding our industry in that regard. Okay, it's not that many bases anyway here in Japan, so we'll go fairly quickly. There we go. think that's just a fortress. Yep, it is indeed. Oh, I can right-click and actually make it 5,000. Well, that makes things easier. Is there anything there? Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of production. Gifu. Looks like it's just an airfield. Well, actually I take that back. That produces a hell of a lot. Now we're up to Yokohama. Right, Tokyo's the big boy. Okay. Totori. So what we're doing here is we're making a lean, mean, fighting Japanese machine. R&D is going to be rather interesting. We do need to actually take a look at the models that we're going to produce. Take a look at the engines that we need for those models. The rest will be converted out into different production. Okay, hello there, Gary. How you doing, my friend? You've not missed too much. We were considering halting the Yamato's construction to save, as well as the Shinano's construction, to save about 300 odd heavy industry per turn. So we'll be able to only really be able, well, I can only do that in turn 2 anyway, so that's something to take a look at in the future. What I'm doing now is I'm setting each base in Japan itself to have at least 5,000 supplies so that we don't have any issues there in terms of supply, as we don't want things to shut down. Then what I'll do is, if we have issues, is I'll turn supply off and have it move around. We need to consider what we're going to actually expand in terms of industry too. I think we need to ideally expand HA35 production immediately. So if we take a look then. So we'll go to engines. Is that the tracker that you pulled up previously in-game? Exported data? Yeah, that's the tracker. God, I wish I was that good. You know, if I was building stuff up like this from scratch, bloody hell, I'd be in a better job. Okay, so airframe production. Let's see here. Available. Well, building is probably a good thing. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to not there, but to here. Right, the flowchart. I don't actually know what the difference is between 1 and 2. Okay, close that, move that. Right, let's take a look at the flowchart. Okay. So IGN fighters. Let's see. Obviously the A6M2. Just 1 second, just gonna grab my phone, just gone off. There we go, and I am back. So just do my nutting with notifications coming through. Okay. So indeed, I think it's going to really come down to the army where most of the changes are going to be going ahead. Man, it is worth it. Come on, Gary, it is worth it. But if you do buy it, please do put in, I don't know if there's a comment section that was you bought it because of me, in the hint. Please. Okay, so obviously this is R&D, this is what we'll have available to us at the moment. It's going to be really the... Okay. Right. Scenario 1 data. So that probably is like the Grand Campaign. We'll compare it to the second flow chart though. I just want to see what the difference is. Thank you! I don't know what the difference is. Okay. Yeah, so, anyway, let's take a look then. Aircraft, Nation, IGN. Sorry, IGA. Sorry, that's just out of habit. Right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to eliminate production of the Nakajima Kotobuku, and then the KI-27B production will be eventually phased out. But what the plan is basically all of these, well, yeah, all of these aircraft that are going to be phased out, that the engines are going to be removed, is we allow them to keep producing in the meantime. If we take a look at the actual engines, let's see what we have in terms of the pool. So you can look at these, and then Nakajima Kotobuku, we have 254 of those bad boys. So the Nates will keep up production until we run out of those engines, because at the end of the day, those are aircraft that I can then upgrade later on and just have available. It's better to have aircraft than not to have aircraft. So rather than just getting rid of their production and having all these engines go to waste, I'm going to actually use those. So the Nakajima Kotobuku will be our first point of reference. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a quick save. The reason for this is if you make any industrial saves, you always save beforehand, just in case. Right, before an engine change. Plus it's always good to have a backup, just in case. There we go. So, engines, producing. Right, the Nakajima Kotobuku. So what I'll do is I'll change that over to the HA35 production. Hello everyone, is Australia worth conquering from the IGN point of view? Or is containment strategy better? Well, that's a good thing. We'll take a quick look at that in regards. I mean, Australia is... well... I mean, there are resources aplenty here. Certain locations do have a hell of a lot. There's areas with decent heavy industry, light industry, that sort of thing. 520 resources is a hell of a lot for me. Yeah, look at all that light industry. Oil, heavy industry. Yeah, certain locations are, but really the only point of Australia I'm really considering taking is the, well, Horn Island and the Torres Strait, ideally, as well as obviously these areas here, which are under Australian control. What I was considering as well is we will have a number of invasions that will be heading down here for Dutch New Guinea. Sorry, New Guinea and Dutch New Guinea, well, Northeast New Guinea. Papua New Guinea, if you will. What I'm thinking of actually doing is, rather than having them take over these ports over here that are effectively bloody useless to me, is I'd rather go for a ambitious blow towards New Britain. Ideally land in a Rabaul. Now, at Rabaul, we are aware there's going to be more than likely be a base force and perhaps another unit of Australians. But the idea here is if we actually land at Rabaul, that does allow us to somewhat control the Solomon Sea, at least the entrance towards the Solomon Sea. Well, the Solomon Sea itself. And then eventually we could use that as a jumping off point to Port Moresby. So that's something I would like to consider. I believe Australians get some infantry units invaded below Brisbane area. Probably. I suppose I would count as reserves. So indeed, that's what we'll do is take a look at the amphibious invasions. There's so much to do, but we are getting closer towards the end and towards the actual true first turn. And you know what? I think I might cry when we actually do get to that first turn, as I'll probably lose something and cry. Okay, Nakajima Kotobuku. Right, let's have you changed over to HA35 production. If I take a look then, so 180 a month. Let's go over here then to our planner. So engines. Okay. Available. So we have 166 in the pool at the moment. Let's see here then. I don't know what that actually means. Potential grades, upgrades. Okay, so obviously you can see what that's going to upgrade to next. Obviously the A6M20 will have upgrade to the A6 M23A variant. I do believe is what we're going to go for. I'm going to follow this more or less. Not entirely, but we'll go with it really. That is our fighter bomber then. I'm not really going to bother with that. So straight to the A6M3. 642, 244. Actually, that's some bloody way away. So never mind that. Okay. Our question is, how many zeros do we need / want? So, right. So we have 246 planes, 1-engine planes being built per month. 123 2 engines, 14 4 engines. Okay. I think what we'll try to do then is possibly up production to about 300 zeros. So the size of our zero manufacturing is, right, total build out, yet to arrive. Yeah. Well, what I'm thinking here is obviously we're going to have a mass reduction in the amount of aircraft, at least aircraft models we actually produce outright. Well, at least we'll continue to produce in the long run. So what I'm thinking here is, well, let's go back into the game actually. So if I take a look at airframes, aircraft factory, the zero production is 56. How much do I want to up that by, though, to begin with? Well, obviously we're going to have to take a look at the amount of production we have available. I think it might be worthwhile for us to actually increase the zero production to potentially 100. Start that. Which would cost us, let's see. So if I increase that to 100, that would be 440 heavy industry. So we'd be producing 100 aircraft a month, 100 zeros a month. 4,400 supply. While playing in Japan, I would like to hear Japanese voices during animations instead of English. I'd never know what the hell they were actually saying. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this guide here. I'm cross-referencing things like this, mostly because I do want to have some sort of basis. I would really like to have read a couple more AARs, but we'll go ahead and take a look at this. Okay, each place needs 10k. Well, I'm not going to be repairing industry, but it seems like these areas here, I probably should actually increase industry, well, supply. Okay. So we'll up the amount of supply requirement in areas where we're going to be producing more industry. As you actually have to, well, repair it technically. Okay, we also do need to move engineers. That's a good little thing I need to remember. Okay. Hello there, JV. My favourite Frenchie. Right. Okay. So we're looking for the A6720, A6730, A6750. Right. The chart shows green things I do straight away, yellow I do within a few weeks, to a month. Okay, so let's take a look at what's been highlighted in green then to see what he has there. Increase to 30. Right, okay, so status R, so I'm going to assume that means research, B, obviously build. Build for a month, turn off Hitachi. So it seems like we should expand all the relevant R&D to 30, more or less. Not a bad idea, I suppose. Then again, I think I'll increase R&D later, as I'd rather get the engineer frames out there sooner, as they're going to come in more immediate use. Okay. They actually recommend building nades, I'd rather not. Jakes I can actually understand. Alright, there we go, A6720, 56. New size, 60. Oh, my Baishi. Bashi? Yes, this is where we have our production. I mean, this is where I have the nade production too. I do also produce KI-43s over here, and that's something I'd like to keep producing. So that's going to be one of my mainstay models. I think what we'll do then is, let's see, do I only have that one production facility for the KI-27s? Judging by the spreadsheets, I'm guessing Pearl Harbor hasn't been bombed yet. No, we're not bombing Pearl Harbor as of yet. That might even be another stream. Well, we probably have one more stream after this, maybe even two at maximum, before we're ready to actually proceed with, yeah, before the turn's ready to proceed on to THG. Right. So, let's see here. So, he's recommending increasing V. I'm just taking a look at this as a cross-reference. Right, where was I? Build 56. New size 60. Well, let's work this out then. So, the 0 airframes. So, an airframe costs us about 18. So, if I was to increase it by, what was it at now? It's at 56? Okay. So, if I go over here, let's bring up the calculator again. I really need to have one of my own calculators, just on the side. Right, okay. So, if we add another 44, that's 44 times 18, which is 792 points of heavy industry. So, let's see. So, heavy industry at the moment, we produce 13,900 points. Is that a day or a month, however? I'd imagine this is a day. Or is it a day? I suppose it's probably less. So that might be just for a month. We'll have to figure this one out. Right. Let's take a look then. Air production, so zeros. Frame stats. Right, so all planes per month is 375. Airframes. Right, so heavy industrial requirement is 6,750. Okay, so I'm not mad. That's good to know. Is that reflected on here? Not as much, okay. Actually, I've got to wonder something. Intriguing. Okay, well, I'm not quite able to see the information I want there. Probably misunderstanding it. But we'll expand it by another 44 anyway. So that's going to take some time to actually ramp up in production. So we do have 2,614 to play with. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and make a quick note of the changes we do make, just so I have a rough estimation of the heavy industry we're going to be using. Okay. Was that 4,400 supply? I believe so. Okay. You know there's an easy button for all this, it's called the Nagumo button. Indeed. Okay. What army airframes are we choosing? I say the Ki-44 because they can hit hard and knock out the heavy bombers. Well, we need to get the R&D for the Ki-44s, but for the time being, we will be running... Let's bring up my spreadsheet here. Okay. Yeah, so for the IGA fighters. So we'll obviously stick with the Ki-43. If we take a look over, well, 1C variant. Range is actually pretty decent. Same range here. Service rating 1, service rating 1, service rating 1, gun value 4, gun value 5, gun value 6. 6 is obviously a hell of a lot better. Maneuverability 46, 46, 46. Yeah, so I feel like this is actually worthwhile pursuing. The Ki-44-2A will take some time. We will have it in the following year, but I'll really prioritize the Ki-43-1C model. And then potentially we might have to really consider what we're going to actually go for the R&D of. I could stick the Ki-43s. They have significantly less gun value. Maneuverability is... Ugh. The Toujos do lack on the maneuverability, they do lack on the range, but they do have significantly more gun value. So that is certainly something to take into consideration in of itself. Gun value does mean a decent amount. I mean, I can still obviously keep on producing Ki-43s. The dates obviously do matter. I would have this available earlier. I suppose what we could do is just have secondary production. But we'll see. Okay. Right, what we're going to do first of all then is sort out engine production, I reckon. So the Nakajima Bukai, we'll change that over. Yeah, see, just like that it's done, and it's like you can't do too much. It's a 0.4 of an episode. Yeah, what we're doing here is basically this is the pre-turn. So I've probably spent close to 8 hours at this point doing the preparations for the first turn. This is how in-depth it is as Japan when you take full-on control. We have plenty more to do as well. So I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. Okay, so at the moment we are producing 180 HA-35s. I think at the end of the day we are going to require more HA-35s. We need a HA-35 for each plane. So if we increase our actual production, this seems to be where the blockage might come from. So IGN, right. Let's see, everything that requires the HA-35. Okay. So I'm building 122 at the moment. If I go to engines, building 180 a month at the moment. Okay, so we do have something of a surplus, but what I'd like to do is build that up, as obviously we will be using more of them. And I'd like to actually try to build up a pool of 500, as that would actually give us a R&D bonus. So that's pretty good. Okay, so what do we expand the Ki-43 production to? The Lily is something I'm going to have to consider. So the Lily... Did I see that right? You're not producing B5N Kate? Let's take a quick look. IGN Navy. Yeah, we don't actually have any K production right now. They are available. We're just not building any. Just funny, actually. We'll obviously sort that out. Okay. I think what I'll do is obviously throw my heavy industry towards the production and R&D to begin with. I think probably the best way to go about things is if we actually sort the R&D to begin with, then we can sort of gain an idea of how much we're actually going to need. I'll expand this in time, but if I expand that, if I was to expand that by 20, you can see here that costs us 200 heavy industry, 200 manpower, 2,000 supply. It's at Tokyo, so it wouldn't cost us very much, really. Okay, but still that's 200 heavy industry, so that takes us down to 2,400. We'll do that soon. Okay, R&D. Just going to have this off to one side, just so I have an idea. Okay. Type. Now the Ruby. We'll keep up research of that as a good float fighter. Could come in very handy. Okay. A63A. We need the 3A variant as that is the one that is carrier capable. Am I producing the A variant? Seems not. So I guess I'll have to convert that over. Well, what we'll do is we'll quickly go over here, just take a quick look, and just so we can just generally see how he would go about things. Okay. 228 needed. Oh, 34. Ooh, wow, that's a huge number. Okay. That's something to bear in mind. That'd be like a lot of heavy industry. R&D. Check evolution of scout and float planes. Yep, we will be doing so. Okay, so that factory there is upgraded to the A6M3A. Okay. We'll do that. I mean, the thing is, do I... I don't really want to be using the A6M3. Yeah, it really doesn't have a place. Yeah, okay. So if we consider here that, for example, more or less the same plane, it's actually less maneuverable, slightly. I mean, the Zeros have really good gun value, but it's the fact that this is actually CV capable. Range is actually significantly higher here. Speed slightly higher. Endurance is higher. So this comes about 6 months later, roughly. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have that, rather have the R&D go towards that. In fairness, it would probably be worthwhile having... yeah, if we dedicate our R&D to the A6M3As, then once we have the A6M3As, we can actually have one of the factories, well, one of the R&D facilities change over. But again, I could have a Zero facility change over. There's a lot to consider when it comes to R&D. A lot to consider. And it would have been potentially a better idea to actually have things as a separate episode for R&D, but we'll bear this in mind. So what I'll do then is I'll change you over to the A6M3A. There we go. So you'll repair to size 24 anyway. Okay. Now the A6M5. See, I wish I could sort this by Navy and ground. This is a little bit irritating that you can't actually sort it out here. It does irritate me slightly. And there's not really a dedicated... Or is there a dedicated? Not as such. IGN. Okay, R&D. Right, CV capable. So we do have the A6M5, the A6M5B, and the A6M5C. Intriguing. They are available at different dates. I think the 5B... The 5C does have a good engine, well, gun value. Armoured, actually, as well, which is rather intriguing. Okay. I think what we'll do then is we'll take a risk. I'll actually have this change over to A6M3A. At the end of the day, there's hardly any production going on. Well, there's no production going, no R&D going on here anyway. Okay. So A6M3A. To repair. So we need to make these size 30. So that's only 20 heavy industry, but I'll make a note of that just so I know what I've used. Okay. Expand that by 2. And again, I could keep it expanded out. Yeah, so if I can get that to size 30, that'd be good. 30 is like a good number. Okay, so that's, what, 280 heavy industry? 280. Okay. These areas will have to have their supply requirement increase as well. Okay, size 30. Now the roofie. Right. Okay, let's go over here. We'll up this to about size 30 then. Yeah, spreadsheets are bloody great, aren't they? Okay, then what did I add? Another 40 heavy industry. It's about 2,800 supply. I think that's roughly that much. Okay, so I'd have to add another... Right. 90 heavy industry, 90 manpower. Yeah, 900 supply. Right, we'll expand that. Not that much. Down to about 80. Sorry, 12. Expand now. Okay. That was originally at 9, so... 210 HI. 2100 supply. 200... Sorry. 100 manpower? Or was it 210 manpower? I think it... Yeah, probably. I'll check. Okay, so that's done. So those are going to be expanded. Now, what we'll do then is we'll have you change over to A6M5. So A6M3A. Then again. I think we'll have you change over to the A6M5. Though I'm going to check... I don't know, what do you guys reckon? Do we have this R&D changed over at Mabashi to the A6M3A? I mean, I do have 2 facilities that will have a total of 60 R&D facilities going. Then again. I mean, the thing is, what I can do is I can obviously have the A6M2 production facilities. So if I think if I have like, yeah, okay, it's one of those. What we'd have to do is we'd have to keep on producing A6M2 zeros. So what it might be is that we have 3 R&D facilities, because at the end of the day, this isn't going to come that much sooner. It would come sooner, obviously, if I concentrate. So I think what we'll do is have this changed over to the A6M3A0. So we'll have 90 R&D facilities, which will actually increase at the end of the day. These have to repair. So if we gain 3, that's 3 points, rather than 1 point a year away. So I think we'll have that at A6M3A. I mean, it's size 14, so that's pretty good. Right, 10 manpower. Okay, 140 manpower. Oh, so it's the same as the actual... Okay, that's good to know. How much are I expanding that by? 14. At least at the moment. Ah, there we go. I mean, this is also I can keep a track of my heavy industry usage. Okay, expand that, another 2. There we go. Hello there, Blinton. Just in time, we're actually looking at the R&D. So what I've done so far is I've converted the A6M, well, basically the A6M production, obviously insert variant model. What I've done is I've removed A6M5 R&D. I've removed the A6M3, yeah, R&D. So I've actually narrowed that down to 3 A6M3A0 R&D facilities. The reason being, I imagine we'll be able to make a bigger gain on R&D by having this concentrated, and then obviously we'll switch one of them out to be a production facility later on, leaving another 2, so then we can keep going like that. We have increased the amount of R&D towards the A6M2 and Ruby, as I believe that could be a rather useful aircraft. So we're keeping a track here of our heavy industry usage, as obviously we do have only so much. Okay. Ooh, preparing for the Category 4 Hurricane on Thursday. Jesus, man. I hope you're okay. I hope you get out of there pretty soon. Damn, let us know how it goes, my dude. Right, so you can see that we are using a couple hundred industry here. I do have 2,614 to play with. So that's decent enough. Obviously, we need to take into consideration the amount of supplies. So let's go to these areas here quickly. Increase that to 10,000 supply required. Mbashi, Nagoya. Okayama. Okay. In fairness, it might be actually worthwhile going to each of these places here that produce R&D, as they are going to be repairing, aren't they? So each point repaired is 1,000 supplies, so it's probably not a bad idea. Okay. As another note you may find useful is that the obsolete twin-engine bombers are flak magnets versus anything non-China. But they do prove decent in China. Interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, these twin-engine bombers, as you say, are very good. At the end of the day, it's like I could produce more four-engine bombers, which I'm going to consider producing more of them, of course. I think what we'll do is I don't know, I'm tempted just to use the G3Ms, or the G4, sorry, the NELs, the naval bombers there. Due to their range, rather than producing anything like a two-engine, but we'll take a look. Okay, Nagasaki Sable has been upped. China does have a decent amount of flag. Hiroshima, Yokohama. Speaking of hurricanes, does this game create typhoon conditions such as Admiral Haley's real hurricane during the war? Weather is simulated, but I don't think things of that nature are. It'd be rather intriguing if it was. That'd be awesome. But I don't know. Intriguing, actually. I don't think so. As far as I can, I'm gonna say no. But that's because I don't know for sure. Right, Kobe. Actually, it might be just easier to sort by base now. Oh dear. And this is all for our R&D. But at the end of the day, repairing does take a lot of supplies. So I do need to make sure that we can actually have the R&D go ahead at full effectiveness. Hello there, Snake. How you doing, my friend? Possibly do you... Yeah, there are thunderstorms and hexes. I suppose that's probably the most it'll stimulate, potentially. I should have been doing that. Hiroshima. Kobe's done too. Bash is definitely done. Nagoka. Nagaoka. Nagasaki. Done. Okayama. Osaka, Kyoto. Sendai. Tokyo. Toyama. Sue. Hello there, Tortuga. How you doing, my friend? Okay. So what we're doing here is obviously making sure that our R&D facilities, well, just the facilities that we have that will be repaired and will have the supplies available. Okay. So, let's see. So what we're doing here then is obviously we're concentrating on the A6M2, which is going to go A6M2 to A6M3A, which will be available December next year. We are working on R&D for the A6M2 Rufy, which is our float fighter, which should be available rather soon into 1942, so I think it'll be worthwhile that effort. And then we'll proceed into the A6M5s, though as to what variant we go for, It's rather intriguing. Do we want fighters with armor? That's the thing. What's going to be worth more to us, having that maneuverability of that armor? I think that's something that is really intriguing. Though the loss of maneuverability isn't that massive. But we have to consider that these are naval fighters. So that true first, how you did, my friend? Yeah, by a genuine kamikaze. Oh dear. Yeah, it might be worthwhile. So the A6M5 into the A6M5B into the A6M5C. Okay, well that's all we need to do on the naval fighter side for the time being. Right. Jacks. Hello there, my friend. We started the stream about 1 hour and 51 minutes ago. So, the stream is still young. Oh dear. Okay. I mean, these are actually rather nice. Armor 1, but these are some way away, so these are disregarded for the time being. Right, maneuverability can only protect so much, bullets can go much faster. That's true. In terms of armor, get it basically cuts pilot losses in half and plane losses by a third. That's really intriguing. Okay, so I think we'll stick to armor then. So, do we actually go for... Well, let's actually take a look at our R&D then. So, R&D. Right, we'll do it like this way then. Well, the A6M2 is not for a long, long while away. Yeah. That's true. Right. And there's the jack available. Remember that many of the Japanese planes were shot down because they're... Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's something to bear in mind then. So I guess we'll go for fighters with the engines. Well, with the armor, sorry. Right, now the question is... Let's take a look at the jack. Right. Now that obviously allows us to arrive sometime, but the JM2 jack... it's not actually CV capable. So is that worthwhile me pursuing? It's a naval fighter that can't be used on carriers. And if we compare that to the relevant A6M2, well, A6M variant, so let's see. A6M5, roughly the same time. And we do have obviously the different variants. But we'll take a look at the A6M5. So if we... Yeah, consider here the A6M5 is slower aircraft. It does have a higher cruise speed though, which is nice. The endurance is higher. Hello there, Krzysztof. No fights today. It might be another 2-hour stream before we even get anything remarkably close to that. Commonly early war tactic for the Americans to choose their armor. Yeah, I can imagine. Range is actually significantly higher. The fact it's CV capable. Gun value is the same. Service rating is actually much higher this side. It does have the armor as well. I mean, that is really the kicker. Do we have a 0 variant with armor? I think that's something. Okay. Yeah, it's not until the A6M5C that we receive a 0 with a fighter. At the end of the day, I think it would be one of those of, when it comes to Navy, as much as it does hurt me, I don't have a armoured fighter that's CV capable until I get to the A6M5C variant. So that is some, well, yeah, some years away. So I think at the end of the day, I think what I want to do then is if I'm going to go for something with a armour, well, armoured rating, is I'm going to want to go towards the land anyway. So the rest of these, yeah. I think what we'll do then is... We'll take the A67, so the A7s. Yeah, I think we'll look at the A7s. We'll have them change over to A6M3A. Have you sometimes considered making Confederate campaigns Ultimate General Gettysburg or Ultimate General Civil War? I did start one. I did do one a little while ago, but my god, the Confederate campaign is so hard. I'd like to do another Civil War 2 campaign at some point in the future as the Confederates, against ideally a player. Obviously, Civil War 2 being the Ajod game. Then again, actually, we'll maintain this for something else. Let's see. I could always have it changed over to Army. Right, or even Naval. Well, sorry, naval bombers. I think a good idea is probably go by size, perhaps. That doesn't really help me. Oh dear. Okay. Let's see then. Oscars. This is what I'm going to look at. I'm going to go for the KI-43-1C. The reason being that gun value is actually higher than the rest of the KI-43s. Maneuverability is untouched, and I generally feel it's a good aircraft. I think it's really quite nice. The range is roughly the same. It's just an upgunned one, so I like that. Perhaps there might be slight differences in the characteristics of the aircraft, but I think this is pretty decent. But naval fighters choose durability and armor since you don't have friendly bases nearby for replacements. I think, actually, let's take a look. So, float fighters may be the option. IGN fighters. 645. Float fighter. No armor, no armor. Yeah, it seems anything that is remotely CV capable will not have armor, which is a shame. But if we go to the army, when do we actually receive armored fighters? Tojos, no. So it wouldn't be until 1943 that we'd see an armored KI-43. KI-44 was no armor. Then again, actually this one would be available. Third 44. Well, that's 44, isn't it? That's some time away. Allows to hear 44 would have armor. So it might be what we'll do is that we actually pursue, obviously, the KI-43s. Pursue the Tojos for their gun value. Their range is not as good, but at the end of the day, their gun value is quite nice. Maneuverability isn't as good. Well, after taking out quick Midway and Philippines, you will have a good line of defense. Well, we don't have Midway yet. Okay. Something to consider is the fat of the engines. Now, this is listed as HA-35, which I do find rather intriguing. I don't believe the Tojo uses the HA-35, so I think this guard might be somewhat out of date. We'll take a look. Tojo. Oh, it's an army fighter, isn't it? Right, Tojo. Yeah, it uses the HA-34, so it's a little bit out of date. That does worry me significantly. Okay. Let's see if I can quickly find something. I do have a general idea of what I want to do R&D-wise. I just want to make sure of what is considered decent. I really want to refine things down to the basics here. I don't want to have anything too large. Okay. Right. We do still have plenty of time to go through this, so it's not an issue. This is why I'm thinking about another stream's going to be required. Okay, let's see. Alright. used to have, like, an actual little guide that's been made for me, but since YouTube decided to remove messages, I actually can't find it anymore. Okay. Well, what we'll do then is... I think we'll just concentrate on what we're going to be... Well, what we'll have soon. Yeah, I believe in you. I believe in you too, my friend. Okay. I need to produce more 34 engines then. Okay. Well, what we'll do then is... Let's see. The larger facilities, well, larger... Well, B6 engines. Well, actually, what we can do is we can actually see the... aircraft, roughly. Right. IGN fighters. IGA, sorry. Float planes. See, when it comes to float planes, there's not that great of a choice. Mostly because they use really irritating engines. So I think what we'll do then is we'll go over here then to our industry. So if I go to engine production, so air production, sorry. So engines, let's see here. So building, right, another thing to add. Yeah, 30 is what we're going to increase them to. That's the idea. The issue we're having now is really just, if the R&D within the game was presented in a more manageable method, yeah, 500 engines is the idea, is the goal here. Okay, so let's see, 31s. Are these the... Okay, fair enough. Da, da, da. Okay, available. Am I even producing any 34s? Right, I do have slight production. Right, planning pop-up. Okay, if I look at the 34, so as you can see here, we produce the Tojos. Helens as well, but not entirely sure about that aircraft. Right, 31s. Right. I wish I could see a display of the model. Quantity is its own quality, very, very true. What I'm looking at here then? Well, actually, let's see then. Let's go back to the actual planner here. So, aircraft comparison. So we'll go to IGN. Float plane. Jake. Ooh, that's some time away. Glenn. Actually, let's go and pull this up over here. Yeah, there's rarely few that beat many. So this is when it comes to float planes. So all these are roughly the same time. What we have to do is really consider which is the best. Now, the Jake is, in my opinion, the best by far, which leads to the E13A1B, which is some way away. It might be that we just actually remove production of all other reconnaissance, well, float planes. Just concentrate on the Jake, which is probably the best idea, considering its range is by far the best. Maneuverability is obviously awful, but at the end of the day, I don't really need it to be maneuverable. I mean, look at that with gun value of 6. Bloody hell, 6 over here too. The Jakes, at the end of the day, float planes aren't there for reconnaissance. So I think what we'll do then is remove the production of these other models of float planes. I think that might be a decent idea. It's like, yeah, the speed... It's just basically a 0 It's just basically a 0. Okay. Yeah, look at that gun value. I mean, the float planes, what they are is basically reconnaissance aircraft on board cruisers, battleships, and carriers. Well, not carriers, as the Japanese didn't carry planes for that purpose. Well, reconnaissance planes like that. So cruisers and battleships, as well as seaplane carriers. Okay. Oh, unless I put them on carriers, of course, that's true. Right, so this is still an RD, so we can ignore float planes for the time being. Well, what I might do is actually go quickly over to V. Well, no. Stick to RD. Don't get distracted. Right, level bombers is where it's at. I think what I'll do then is look for the models. Like here, we have plenty of bloody G4M2Es. Okay, so let's see here. We have IGN level bombers. We have the G3M2. And we have the G4M1 over here as well. So if we take a look at the considerations here, well, what we have to consider. So, well, actually the G3M3 receives radar, which is rather intriguing. Yeah, I just never expected it to fight air-to-air, which I don't. I really don't expect it to fight air-to-air. There'll be a pound a penny. Well, obviously, yeah, I'd like to retain them, but the idea is reconnaissance. I don't want them in a fight. Okay. Now, let's take a look at that. That's rather intriguing regarding the radar. GM3, yeah, that radar's rather intriguing. Let's look at the alternatives, which would be G4s. Right, G4M1 is what we have now, or we will potentially have. If I take a look here. G4M1. And value 12. Search range 2, range 21, which is very good, while 1721. That radar is really intriguing. Well, that one comes a lot later on. The Francis P1Y1. Right. Well, when it comes to the planes, what we're going to have to do then is we're not going to receive a armoured fighter until at least 1943. The other models, they're just, it's the end of the day, I'm not going to have an armoured fighter until 1943 at earliest convenience. So it's something of a non-issue for the time being. If I could have armoured fighters earlier, I would do. So I suppose that would answer the question. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to switch over the G3 R&D over to the G3 M3. Indeed. If we look, I mean, we are seeing a G3 M3E, which is rather intriguing. Unless that's like a different model of aircraft. It might be a transport, you know. Or it might be a patrol. Nope. Torpedo bomber? No. Night fighter? Nope. G4M2A, let's see. Ah, yes, the G4M2s. Now, if I follow this, I'd rather go to the G4M2 to the G4M2A. I mean, this is radar. But to have this H6 radar a lot sooner is really quite valuable. So what do you guys reckon? 1241, 144, that's a long way away. And the range is obviously nicer here. Service rating is good, gun value is the same, maneuverability is slightly less. If you go with D stands for, it's slightly less. I do feel the radar's by far worth more. So we'll have this R&D change over to the G3 M3. So, G4M1L. I think that's a transport. Okay, so... would you guys agree? Alright, G3. GM3 now. And then today that's the only one, so G3. That radar, I think, is really worthwhile. I mean, at the end of the day, having that radar would actually really help them. The H6 is actually decent radar, about 20 nautical miles. Well, that's actually something to consider. I'm glad I didn't change things over too quickly. The only problem is it has to be in the air to work. Well, okay, let's see. So let's go to patrol. H6. We'll go to R. I mean, R&D is going to take us a hell of a long time. There's a lot to consider here. Okay, IGA bombers. I don't like how that's like this. Night fighters. Reconnaissance. What is this here? Level bombers. Right patrol. So H6K4, H6K5. Okay. 642. Oh, 742. It's intriguing. H6 radar. Well, I mean, just having that radar does immediately draw me towards it more than anything. No, there's no tank research. It would be rather intriguing if there was. Can you imagine the simple scale of it? Oh dear. Right. Okay, I think what we're going to do then is we're going to actually... it's too much. There's too much to consider. I just really wish that the in-game UI in that aspect was actually better. It's rather poor in this aspect. Right. So I'm going to go for the G3M3. Alright, G3M3. Expand that to size 30. Right. Then again, I did convert it, so that's 30. Yeah, be great though, wouldn't it? Right, so that's 300 heavy industry. 3,000 supply. 300 manpower. These are numbers to keep a track of, just so we know how much heavy industry we're using in the first turn, obviously with this expansion. Okay. Right, I believe that's a transport. I believe L's designate transport, but that can be changed over. So let's see. Not that one. Patrol H6, H6K5. There we go. They'll arrive next year, actually. So, is game making obvious, Oh, is the game making it obvious what you have to do to get a total victory? I mean, you have to say more objectives than anyone else. Well, each base is worth so much. I can't remember if there's like an... Let's see. Like outright victory. I forget where victory points are. I mean, we can see our score here. Yeah, I kind of forget that. Okay. Right. I mean, once this is done, it'd be far easier. I'm half considering, because at the end of the day, a lot of these are going to be switched over anyway. I'm half considering... Right, anyway. So we have G3M3 Nel R&D going ahead. I guess it would be worthwhile doing this. 232. You can see this is using our heavy industry in the pool. Right, to that. So, look at the supply amount. Not a huge amount of resources there. Well, supply there. Looks like we have more than we really do. Okay. Right, let's just do a quick run of these numbers just so we can figure out how much we've used so far. I think at the end of the day, if I get a decent amount of R&D undergoing, then we'll have to take a look at the engine production. Expansion, sorry. Okay, so we have used 1,280 heavy industries so far. I think what we'll do then is possibly spend the rest on engine expansion and airframe expansion. I guess what I can do is I can change things over. What's up there, Blinton? How you doing, my friend? Okay. Ugh. I do wish things were a little bit easier to see when it comes to the actual thingamajiggy here. I mean, army aircraft is even worse. I'm going to guess these are naval aircraft and below are army aircraft, which does make sense. Okay, so we have the B6N1. That changed over to the B6M2. Take a quick look at the Jill. If we actually take a quick look over here at Imperial Japanese Army level bombers, there's a lot here to choose from. These are what we have to begin with. Well, these are what we gain. That armor's quite nice. These are the size of the bombs, I do believe. Something to point out is the fact that this uses the Nakajima HA-35, while this uses HA-34. At the end of the day, if I actually have a reason to produce more HA-34s, that's not a bad thing, as obviously we're going to need those for Tojos. I think this just shows us what they upgrade into, really, of course. And again, I could go here. And I do have a bomber that is carrying more of a bomb load. He's armoured, so is this. Gun value is actually higher. Okay. I think what we'll do is we'll remove that end. But I want to be looking at the Navy. God, it's so difficult not to get distracted. Right, torpedo bombers. This is what we'll be looking at. Okay, so this is what I have available at the moment. Really what I want to do is actually increase the amount of Kate, B5N2 Kates. I mean, the Jills are some way away, but I could do with actually producing something like that. So we'll have them switch over to the B6N. Yeah, so that can switch over to the B6N1. There we go. I'll up these in the future. Okay, dive bombers now. So we want to be heading with the D3A1 into the D3A2, which is a natural progression, of course. We do have later on the Judy to come, but D3A2 get that as soon as possible. 1,500 kilogram bomb, that's massive. Service rate 3, gun value of 6, range 6756. 33 HA60. Well, that's one of the things. Do we actually consider going down the Judy line? It may be worthwhile, as considering the next one would be the D5Y1, which is not until 45. If I go down this path, it may be worthwhile just to have the R&D for this. Yeah, as that leads to obviously new models sooner. No armor, however. Range, yeah. Yeah. It is a bigger bomb, though. So at the end of the day, I think it's worth going down this route, too. So I think we'll convert some of the R&D over to that. Well, have some of the R&D go that way. Right. Switch that to there. D5Y1. D4Y1, sorry. I mean, that's some way away. I might actually research into Val too. I don't think so. Then what we'll do then is we'll have that changed over to the D3A. Yeah, D3A too. D3A2 Val. Okay. What about prioritizing and making torpedo boats? U-boats would make USA very hard to resupply. We can't put in new production orders as such. What we can do is obviously we can sort of accelerate construction of certain ships over others. So you can kind of do it, but yeah. Okay. Okay, so we've got D3A2s, D4Y1s, that's our dive bombers. Alright, transports. So when it comes to transports, we have Victoriza, Torpis, Sally, Talia, Tina. The next one would be the Ki-57 or the H6K2, which has really good range. Load capacity is very good. Or the H6K4L, which is actually a little bit longer range. Search range is okay. I use the HA31 engine. I'm not a big fan of that. Then again, it was his army rather than Navy. Okay, we'll have some research towards the H6. Yeah, which we already have. That's good. Right, so what I look at is the B6. So, torpedo bomber, Gnade Mule. Right, B6 1 Jill. B6 and 1 Jill, sorry. I don't have the B6 and 5-2 Kate yet, so I think I should change that over. I think that was what I was confusing it for. B6 and 2. Jill. As long as it's known as. I'm looking for the Kates. Actually, no, I can already produce the B6 and 5-2 Kate, can't I? That's why I can't find it. Okay. Yeah, I already have it, don't I? Right, Jill's some way away. So that's fine, we can keep that on there. Right, so that's dive bomber's done, torpedo bomber's done, transport's already underway. Patrol's done. Reconnaissance. Right, D4Y1C. Judy. Okay. Well, we are at almost 2.5 hours. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to call the session an end. And I think we may have one final session and then potentially another, depending on how things go. So I'd love to hear from you guys about R&D and what you guys reckon would be a good idea. And thank you so very much for watching. We are getting closer and closer towards the actual end of the turn. And I believe once we have R&D under wraps, we'll have cargo done, we'll have industry done, well, more or less, yeah. Well, once we have cargo and industry done and R&D done, then it really does come down to just army deployment, naval deployment, air deployment, which may look like it'll take a long time, but it really won't. It'll go by pretty quickly. But so far, all the convoys are set up. Every spare cargo ship is going to head towards Japan. We'll look at obviously set on the ASW and the ASW from the air. So that's pretty cool. So thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. If you do have any suggestions, do let me know. And feel free to join the Discord. I think I still have a link. Do I still have a link? Yeah, I still have a link. Feel free to join the Discord for more. So until next time, thank you, and goodbye, my friends.